Thanksgiving dinner, 15 relatives, clinking glasses, and my daughter-in-law suddenly hisses, "Your free ride is over, Dolores. Starting next month that guest room is $2,300. Forks freeze midair. I'm branded a freeloader in the very house my late husband and I paid off decades ago. But Harold left me one dusty envelope, the deed in my name alone, and 30 minutes later I'm the one serving eviction papers, watching the sheriff click cuffs while every inch of my rented room becomes mine again. Want the full story of how a widow with paperwork flipped the script? Keep listening. The words hung in the air like a slap across my face. I stared at my daughter-in-law Brittany across the Thanksgiving table, certain I'd misheard. Around us, 15 family members had gone silent, forks suspended halfway to their mouths. The turkey I'd helped prepare that morning suddenly tasted like sawdust. "I'm sorry, what?" My voice came out smaller than I intended. Brittany dabbed her lips with her napkin, those perfectly manicured nails catching the light. "You heard me. 2,300 a month for the guest room. That's actually below market rate. I'm being generous." My son Michael kept his eyes fixed on his mashed potatoes. My hands trembled as I set down my fork. This was my house. The house Harold and I had bought in 1985. The house where we'd raised our 3 children. The house I'd moved back into with them after Harold died 3 years ago when they said I shouldn't be alone. "If you can't afford it," Brittany continued, her voice carrying that fake sweetness she'd perfected, "there's always the shelter downtown. They have programs for seniors." My sister-in-law June gasped. "Brittany, that's what practical." Brittany cut her off. "We can't keep supporting a freeloader forever." Freeloader. After 40 years of marriage, after raising 3 kids, after giving up my nursing career to support Harold's military service, after losing him to cancer, I was a freeloader in my own home. But what Brittany didn't know was that Harold had always been meticulous about paperwork. "Keep everything, Dolly." He used to say, "Documentation is protection." I should have remembered that sooner. My name is Dolores Hartley, and 3 years ago I thought I'd found refuge with family. I was 68, newly widowed and drowning in grief. Harold, my rock, my best friend, my husband of 40 years, had lost his battle with lung cancer. The doctor said it was from his time in Vietnam. All those chemicals they'd been exposed to. He'd fought so hard right until the end. We'd built a good life together. Nothing fancy, but solid. Harold worked construction after the military, and I'd been a registered nurse until Michael was born. Then came our daughters, Sarah and Lisa, and I'd made the choice millions of women make. I stayed home. Harold's income was enough and the kids needed me. I never regretted it, not once. We scrimped and saved. And in 1985 we bought our house in Riverside Heights. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a big backyard where the kids could play. Harold had used his VA loan benefits, and we'd been so proud signing those papers. "This is our security, Dolly," Harold had said that day holding the deed. "Whatever happens, we own this. Nobody can take it away." The house was paid off in 2010. I still remember the little celebration we had, just the 2 of us by then. Kids all grown and moved out. Harold grilled steaks. I made his favorite potato salad. And we danced in the kitchen to our wedding song. 6 years later, he was diagnosed. After the funeral, I'd tried living alone, but the house felt too big, too quiet. I'd find myself talking to Harold's empty chair, making coffee for 2 out of habit. When Michael suggested I move in with them, just until you're feeling stronger, it seemed like a blessing. My son wanted to take care of me. Brittany had seemed so welcoming then, talking about how the kids missed their grandma, how nice it would be to have me close. I sold my furniture, donated Harold's tools to the VFW, kept only what would fit in their guest room. The house in Riverside Heights stood empty, but I couldn't bear to sell it. Too many memories. Michael said they'd help me figure out what to do with it later. The first 6 months were lovely. I cooked Sunday dinners, helped with the grandkids' homework, felt useful again. Brittany would chat with me over morning coffee, asking about my life with Harold, seeming genuinely interested. I thought I'd found my place. Then something shifted. Brittany started making comments about the extra laundry, the higher water bills. She'd sigh when she saw me in the kitchen, as if my presence exhausted her. The warmth in her voice cooled to politeness, then to barely concealed irritation. Michael grew distant, too, always busy with work, avoiding my eyes when Brittany complained about the situation. I should have seen the signs. The way Brittany's mouth tightened when the grandkids ran to hug me. How she'd started calling me your mother when talking to Michael. Never mom anymore. The stack of nursing home brochures I'd found in the recycling bin. Harold always said to keep the deed in the safe. I'd brought all our important papers when I moved, stored them in a lock box under my bed. But I trusted my son. I believed that family meant something. I was about to learn how wrong I was. The real shift had started about a year ago when Brittany got promoted to marketing director at her firm. The money changed her. Or maybe it just revealed who she'd always been. She started redecorating, hearing contractors talking about elevating their lifestyle. Every room got a makeover except mine, which remained pointedly shabby, like a reminder of my unwelcome presence. Michael worked as an engineer at Boeing. Good money, but nothing compared to Brittany's new salary. I watched my son shrink as his wife's star rose. She controlled the finances, made the decisions, and he just nodded along. The boy who'd stood up to bullies in third grade couldn't meet his wife's eyes anymore. Your mother is becoming a burden. I'd overheard Brittany tell him one night. I'd come down for water and frozen outside their bedroom door. She contributes nothing. Michael just sits here using our resources, taking up space. She's my mom, Michael had said weakly. And I'm your wife, your family now. We have our own kids to think about. College funds, retirement savings. We can't keep hemorrhaging money on someone who refuses to help herself. Hemorrhaging money. I bought my own groceries, paid for my medications, never asked for a dime, but that didn't fit Brittany's narrative. My daughters lived far away. Sarah in Boston, Lisa in Seattle. We talked on the phone, but they had their own challenges. Sarah was going through a divorce. Lisa had twins with special needs. When I'd hint at problems, they'd say, "At least you're with Michael. You're so lucky Brittany's there to help." Lucky. I felt anything but lucky when Brittany started limiting my time with the grandkids. They need to focus on homework, she'd say, ushering 8-year-old Emma and 10-year-old Josh away from my room. Grammy's tired. Leave her alone, but I wasn't tired, I was being erased. One evening, I'd found Brittany on her laptop browsing nursing homes. Research for work, she'd said quickly, slamming it shut. But I'd seen the search terms, Medicare beds available, and expedited placement. My neighbor Dorothy, who'd known Harold and me for 30 years, noticed the change. "You look thin, Dolores, and sad. Is everything all right?" What could I say? That my son's wife wanted me gone, that I felt like a ghost in what should have been my sanctuary. I smiled and lied, just missing Harold, but Dorothy wasn't fooled. She'd seen Brittany's type before. "You know where I am if you need anything," she said, squeezing my hand. Harold would want someone looking out for you. The house remodel continued. Brittany put in a pool, a new kitchen, converted the basement to a home theater. One day, showing it off to her book club, I heard her say something that chilled me. "This is my house now. I've made it what it should have been all along. My house." The words echoed in my head that night as I looked at my wedding photo. Harold smiled back at me, frozen in time, unaware of what would become of his dolly. Then came that horrible Thanksgiving dinner and everything exploded. The silence after Brittany's freeloader comment stretched like a taut wire. June tried again. "Brittany, this is Dolores' home too. She's family. Brittany laughed, the sound sharp as breaking glass. "Family contributes. Family doesn't sit around like dead weight while others pay the bills. I buy my own," I started. "Your groceries, your little medications." Brittany waved dismissively. "What about property taxes, insurance, utilities, the mortgage? Whose name is on the deed anyway?" June asked quietly. Something flickered in Brittany's eyes. "We're the ones paying the mortgage. This is our house, our rules." My chest tightened. The room felt too hot, too small. Around the table, relatives shifted uncomfortably. Michael's cousins exchanged glances. My brother-in-law Tom cleared his throat but said nothing. "Michael," I looked at my son, pleading, "don't you have something to say?" He lifted his head briefly and I saw shame in his eyes, but he just mumbled, "Mom, maybe we should discuss this later." "No," Brittany snapped. "We're discussing it now. I've prepared a rental agreement. $2,300 a month is more than fair for a private room, bathroom access, and kitchen privileges. Below market rate, actually, I checked. Kitchen privileges," my voice cracked. "I've cooked in that kitchen for too long without paying your share." Brittany pulled out her phone, scrolling. "Look, here's a comparable room on Craigslist. $2,700. I'm giving you a family discount." My hands shook so badly I had to clasp them in my lap. This woman in my house at the table where I'd served countless meals was treating me like a stranger. Worse than a stranger, like a problem to be solved. You have until December 1st to decide, Brittany continued. Pay rent or find alternative arrangements. Alternative arrangements. June's voice rose. She's your mother-in-law, and I'm protecting my children's future. Brittany shot back. Do you know how much we could get renting that room to an actual paying tenant? Someone who contributes. Little Emma, my granddaughter, tugged on her mother's sleeve. Mommy, why is Grammy crying? I hadn't realized I was. I touched my cheek, felt the wetness there. Brittany sighed dramatically. See, this is what I mean. The emotional manipulation. It's exhausting. I know, that's enough. Tom finally spoke, his voice hard. It's Thanksgiving, for God's sake. Exactly. Brittany smiled coldly. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to finally address this situation honestly. No more enabling. I pushed back from the table, my legs unsteady. Excuse me. Sit down, mother, Brittany commanded. We're not finished, but I was. I was finished being humiliated. Finished pretending this was bearable. I walked to my room, the guest room as Brittany called it, and closed the door on their voices. Through the thin walls, I heard June arguing, Tom's deeper tones, Michael's silence louder than any words. On my dresser sat the photo from last Thanksgiving when Harold was still alive. We'd been at this same table in the same house, but everything had been different then. Harold's arm around me, Michael smiling genuinely, even Brittany looking pleasant. How had it come to this? I didn't return to dinner. Later, Michael knocked softly. Mom, I brought you a plate. I opened the door, saw his face. My boy looking lost and ashamed. How could you let her speak to me that way? He set the plate on my dresser. Wouldn't meet my eyes, she's stressed about money. The promotion came with more responsibilities. She doesn't mean she meant every word. I studied his face. Saw Harold's jaw, my eyes, but none of our strength. What happened to you, Michael? Just think about the rental agreement. Okay, it's not that much. And you have Dad's pension, Social Security, get out. The words came out flat, final. Mom, get out of my room. He left. Shoulders slumped. I looked at the plate he'd brought. Turkey, stuffing, all the fixings. Food I'd helped prepare in the kitchen where I now needed privileges. I threw it in the trash. That night I lay awake thinking about Harold's words. Documentation is protection. But protection from what? He'd never imagined I'd need protection from our own son. The next morning, Black Friday, while others hunted bargains, Brittany hunted for my signature. She appeared at 7 sharp rental agreement in hand, smile bright as her whitened teeth. Sleep well. She didn't wait for an answer, spreading papers on my dresser. I've made this very simple. First month's rent due December 1st. Security deposit waived. Family discount. Sign here. Initial here. I read through the document. Each line another twist of the knife. No overnight guests without approval. No cooking after 8:00 p.m. No use of common areas during family time. A curfew. Actual curfew of 900 p.m. This is a joke, I said. This is reality. Brittany's smile never wavered. You've had a free ride for 3 years. Time to adult up, Dolores, adult up. I'd been an adult when she was still in diapers. I'd raised 3 children, managed a household, held my husband's hand through chemo. But to her, I was just an old woman who needed to learn responsibility. What if I refuse? Then you'll need to vacate by December 1st. She pulled out her phone, showed me a moving company's website. I've already got quotes. Very reasonable. They can have you packed and out in 3 hours. Michael agreed to this. Michael agrees with whatever's best for our family. She leaned against my door frame, casual as a neighbor chatting over coffee. Look, Dolores, I'm trying to help you maintain some dignity here. The alternative is well less pleasant. Meaning I've toured some lovely facilities. Golden Years has an opening. Medicare covers most of it. You'd have your own space. Smaller, of course, but manageable. Meals provided, activities, people your own age. A nursing home. The words tasted bitter. Assisted living, she corrected. Very different, more independence though. She tilted her head, studying me. You have been forgetting things lately. Leaving the stove on, missing medications. Maybe more support would be beneficial. I hadn't forgot anything, but I saw the trap. Refuse the rent, get painted as incompetent, pay the rent, legitimize her claim to my house. Either way, she won. I need time to think. Of course, you have 5 days. She set the papers on my nightstand, patted them like a pet. Oh, and I'll need you out of the house tomorrow afternoon. We're having friends over and it would be awkward. After she left, I sat on my bed holding Harold's picture. What would he do? Fight, certainly. But how could I fight when my own son wouldn't stand up for me? I called Sarah first. Honey, I need to talk to you about something. Mom, can it wait? The lawyers hear about the divorce papers. It's important. Brittany wants me to pay rent. A pause. Well, that's not unreasonable, is it? I mean, you are living there, my heart sank. Sarah, it's $2,300. Oh, that's a lot. But you have dad's benefits, right? Maybe it's time to think about your own place anyway. Might be nice having your independence back. Independence. As if I'd chosen dependence, as if I hadn't been forced into this corner by grief and loneliness and the promise of family support. Lisa was no better. Mom, I can't deal with this right now. The twins have therapy. And look, maybe Brittany has a point. You could contribute something. I do contribute financially. I mean, real contribution. Real contribution. 40 years of keeping house, raising kids, supporting my husband's career. None of that was real to them. Only money counted now. I hung up feeling more alone than I had since Harold's funeral. My daughters, my son, when had they all become strangers? That afternoon, I went to the bank. The teller, a young woman with kind eyes, noticed my hands shaking as I filled out the withdrawal slip. Is everything okay, Mrs. Hartley? No, I wanted to say nothing is okay. Instead, I smiled. Just need to check my balance. The numbers on the screen mocked me. Social Security, $1,400 a month. Harold's pension, $800. Savings, $5,000. Enough to pay Brittany's rent for 2 months, maybe 3 if I ate ramen and skipped medications. Then what would you like to speak with a financial advisor? The teller asked gently. No, thank you. What could an advisor tell me? That I was old, poor, and out of options. I drove past Golden Years on the way home, a gray building with tiny windows, residents shuffling in the garden like ghosts. Was this my future, warehoused, forgotten, while Brittany lived in my house? That evening, while they entertained friends, I sat in my car at the park. Dorothy found me there, knocked on my window. Dolores, honey, what are you doing out here in the cold? I broke down then, told her everything. She listened, her face growing harder with each word. That which, she said when I finished, Harold would be spinning in his grave. What can I do, Dorothy? I can't afford the rent. My kids think I'm a burden. I have nowhere to go. What about your house? The one in Riverside Heights? It's just sitting empty, Michael said. I paused, remembering. Michael said they'd help me figure out what to do with it. Dorothy's eyes sharpened. Dolores, whose name is on that deed? Mine, well, mine and Harold's. But Harold's gone, so it's yours. Just yours, I suppose. But no buts, that's your house, your asset. Why are you living like a beggar when you own property? The question hung between us. Why indeed? Because I'd been so grateful for the illusion of family that I'd forgotten my own worth. Because grief had made me vulnerable, pliable, willing to accept crumbs. I need to think, I said. Dorothy squeezed my shoulder. Think fast, honey, and remember. Harold left you more than memories. He left you security. Use it. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the deed, the papers in my lockbox. Harold's voice echoed. Documentation is protection. At 3:00 a.m., I pulled out the lockbox, entered the combination, our anniversary date. Inside, neat folders labeled in Harold's precise handwriting, insurance, military records, medical, and their property. I opened it with trembling fingers, pulled out the deed to the Riverside Heights house. Our names in official type, Harold James Hartley and Dolores Marie Hartley. And below that, in Harold's writing, a note, Dolly, this is yours always. Don't let anyone take it from you. All my love. I pressed the paper to my chest and wept. Then I started planning. December 1st arrived like an executioner's dawn. I woke to Brittany's knock, sharp, demanding, the sound of someone who expected compliance. Moving day, she sang out, pushing open my door without waiting for permission. Behind her stood 2 burly men in matching t-shirts. These gentlemen from Swift Move are here to help you pack. I sat up slowly, pulling my robe tighter. I haven't agreed to move. No, you haven't agreed to pay rent. Brittany's smile could have frozen hell, which means you're vacating today. I've taken the liberty of reserving you a room at Golden Years. You can thank me later. The movers shifted uncomfortably. The younger one, barely older than my grandson, wouldn't meet my eyes, but they stepped forward when Brittany waved them in. Don't touch anything, I said, standing. Dolores, don't make this harder than necessary. Brittany pulled out her phone. I can call the police if you prefer. Explain how you're trespassing in our home. Our home, the words ignited something in me. Not rage exactly, but something colder. Determination. Actually, I said, reaching for the folder I'd placed on my nightstand. I ran a title search on this property. Brittany's thumb froze over her phone screen. Excuse me, a title search. You know what that is, don't you? With your real estate investments. I pulled out the deed, hands steady now. Funny thing about this house, it's not in your name or Michael's. The room went very still. One of the movers muttered something about waiting in the truck. That's ridiculous. But Brittany's voice had lost its edge. We've been paying the mortgage for what mortgage? I unfolded the deed, held it up. This house has been paid off since 2010 and it's in my name. Only my name since Harold passed. I watched the color drain from her face. That's impossible, Michael said. Michael lied. Or you did. I'm not sure which anymore. I pulled out another paper, but this is interesting. A loan application from 6 months ago trying to use this house as collateral with a signature that looks like mine but isn't. I don't know what you're talking about. No, then you won't mind explaining it to Walter Brennan. You remember Walter Harold's attorney. He's very interested in this forged signature and these credit cards opened in my name. I fanned out the statements. I discovered 20,000 in debt I knew nothing about. That's fraud, Brittany. Federal crime. The movers had definitely retreated now. Brittany stood frozen, calculations running behind her eyes. Then she laughed, forced, brittle. You're confused, Dolores. This is exactly why you need professional care. These delusions. The only delusion was thinking I could trust you. I picked up my phone. Walter's on speed dial. Should I call him or would you prefer to leave my house voluntarily? Your house. Her mask finally slipped, revealing the ugliness beneath. I've renovated every inch of this place. The pool, the kitchen, everything that makes it worth anything. With my equity, without my permission. That's called unjust enrichment. I'd learned so much from Walter these past few days. You have 30 minutes to pack what's actually yours and get out. Michael, Brittany's shriek could have shattered glass. Michael, get up here. My son appeared in the doorway, hair must face puffy with sleep. He took in the scene. Brittany rigid with fury, me holding papers like weapons. Movers gone, what's happening? Your mother's lost her mind. Brittany grabbed his arm, she's claiming this is her house. Making wild accusations. It is my house. I looked at my son, really, looked at him. When had he become so small? You knew that, Michael. You've always known that. He couldn't meet my eyes. Mom, you what? Thought I was too stupid to figure it out, too grateful for your charity to check the paperwork. My voice stayed level, but each word hit like a hammer. I raised you better than this. We needed the money. The words burst out of him. Brittany's promotion, it came with expectations. The cars, the private schools, keeping up appearances. So you decided to steal from your mother. It wasn't stealing. We were going to pay you back. When after you'd forged enough documents to actually steal my house, I turned to Brittany. That was the plan, wasn't it? Get me declared incompetent, take power of attorney, sell my house out from under me. Brittany's silence was answer enough. 25 minutes, I said, then I called the police. You wouldn't dare. But Brittany was already backing toward the door. The scandal. Think of your grandchildren. I am thinking of them. What lesson does it teach when crime goes unpunished? I started dialing. Walter's waiting for my call. He has the district attorney on standby. That broke her. Brittany's face contorted with rage. You vindictive old after everything we've done. Done to me, not for me. I started dialing. 24 minutes. Brittany fled. I heard her screaming at Michael, drawers slamming. Chaos downstairs. Michael stood frozen in my doorway, tears streaming down his face. Mom, please. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, she made me. No one made you betray your mother. I sat down the phone, suddenly exhausted. Your father would be ashamed, that broke him. He sobbed like the little boy who'd once run to me with skinned knees, but I couldn't comfort him, that trust was gone. You have a choice, I said quietly. Leave with her or stay and face the consequences. Either way, you're no longer welcome in my house without an invitation. Mom, go, Michael, before I change my mind about pressing charges. He stumbled away. I listened to the pandemonium below. Brittany shrieking orders, doors slamming, their children crying in confusion. Part of me wanted to go to Emma and Josh, but they weren't my grandchildren anymore. They were the children of strangers who tried to destroy me. 20 minutes later, I heard car doors slam. I moved to the window, watched Brittany's Mercedes peel out of my driveway. Michael's SUV following like a whipped dog. Neighbors had gathered on the sidewalk, Dorothy among them, witnessing their shame. The house fell silent, my house. I walked through it slowly, seeing the changes Brittany had made. Some were lovely, I had to admit. The kitchen was spectacular. The pool would be nice come summer. All paid for with my stolen equity. But mine now, I called Walter, they're gone. Good, I'll file the paperwork Monday morning. Fraud, identity theft, elder abuse. She's looking at serious time. Dolores, what about Michael? A pause. That's your choice. He's complicit, but juries tend to be more lenient with family manipulation cases. Family manipulation, such a clinical term for betrayal. I need to think. Take your time, but Dolores changed the locks today and the security codes. I'll send someone over. After hanging up, I made coffee in my spectacular stolen kitchen. The irony wasn't lost on me. Brittany had created her dream home with my money, and now it was mine. Harold would have laughed at that. Dorothy appeared at my back door, face flushed with excitement. Honey, the whole neighborhood saw that woman peeling out like her tail was on fire. What happened? I let her in, poured her coffee, told her everything. Her eyes grew wider with each revelation. Forgery, identity theft. Oh, Dolores, that's criminal. Yes. I sipped my coffee, surprised by how calm I felt. She opened credit cards in my name. 20,000 in debt, tried to forge loan documents using my house as collateral. But how did you find out? I smiled, remembering. I went to see Walter just to ask about my options, maybe get a loan to pay her rent. He ran a routine credit check and nearly had a heart attack. 3 cards I'd never opened, applications for equity loans I'd never made, and inquiries from companies about my interest in reverse mortgages. Dear God. Walter did some digging. Brittany had been planning this for months. Build up debt in my name. Declare me incompetent when I couldn't pay. Take control of my assets. I set down my cup, hands steady. She just didn't expect me to fight back. Dorothy reached across the table, squeezed my hand. Harold would be so proud. Would he? I looked around the kitchen that wasn't really mine but was. I let it get this far. Let them treat me like nothing. You were grieving, vulnerable. They took advantage. Dorothy's voice hardened. Press charges, Dolores, both of them. Michael's my son. No, your son died the day he chose her over you. She stood fierce as any mother bear. That man who just left, that's a stranger wearing your son's face. After Dorothy left, I wandered my house. Really, mine now, no qualifiers needed. In the master bedroom, I found Brittany's leftovers, designer clothes, jewelry, the smell of her perfume. In Michael's office, papers scattered in their haste. I didn't touch anything. Evidence, Walter had said, document everything. The children's rooms broke my heart. Emma's dolls arranged just so. Josh's Legos half-built. They were innocents in this, but I couldn't save them. Not anymore. My phone rang. Sarah, Mom, Michael called. He's hysterical saying you threw them out. What's going on? I told her. The silence stretched so long I thought we'd been disconnected. Mom, that's insane. There must be some misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding was me thinking family meant something. My voice stayed level. Your brother and his wife tried to steal my house. Sarah committed fraud. This isn't a misunderstanding, it's a crime, but Michael wouldn't. He did, and you dismissed me when I asked for help. So did Lisa. The hurt crept in despite my control. I'm done being everyone's afterthought. That's not fair. We have our own problems. Yes, you do. And they're yours to solve just as mine are mine. I took a breath. I love you, Sarah, but I'm done being anyone's victim, even my children's. She hung up on me. I expected Lisa's call within the hour and wasn't disappointed. Same disbelief, same accusations of overreacting, same inability to see me as anything but the mother who should endure everything silently. You're destroying our family, Lisa cried. No, I'm saving myself. I ended the call, then blocked both daughters' numbers. The silence felt like freedom. I know. That evening the locksmith came. New locks, new codes, new beginning. I stood in my kitchen. Mine, 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 and cooked dinner for one. Grilled cheese and tomato soup. Harold's favorite comfort meal. Simple, perfect, eaten in peace. June called as I was washing dishes. Dolores, I heard what happened. Are you okay? Sweet June, the only one who tried to defend me. I'm better than okay. I'm free. Good for you. Tom and I never liked how Brittany treated you. A pause. Michael's staying with his friend Dave. Brittany went to her mother's. I don't care where they are, as long as it's not here. Are you really pressing charges? Yes. No hesitation. What they did was criminal. I don't blame you. Not one bit. If you need anything at all, you call us. One ally, it was enough. That night I slept in the master bedroom for the first time in 3 years. Brittany's California King felt like a cloud. I sprawled across it, luxuriating in space that was mine by right twice over. My house, my stolen money that paid for it. I dreamed of Harold. He was sitting in the kitchen, coffee in hand, that crooked smile I'd loved for 40 years. Took you long enough, Dolly. I'm sorry. I got lost for a while, not lost, just waylaid. He reached for my hand and I felt it warm and real. But you found your way. I knew you would. I miss you so much. I know, but I'm here. He tapped his chest, then mine, right here always. I woke with tears on my cheeks but peace in my heart. Harold was right. He was here in my strength, my refusal to be diminished, my fight for justice. This is what he'd left me. Not just a house, but the backbone to defend it. Monday morning arrived with Walter and a forensic accountant named Patricia Chen. We sat at my dining table, my table in my house, spreading out evidence like generals planning a campaign. The fraud is extensive, Patricia said, adjusting her glasses, 3 credit cards, multiple loan applications, several attempts to add Brittany as co-owner of your property. The paper trail is damning. How did I not know? I still felt foolish. Exposed. They were careful, had mail redirected, used electronic statements, intercepted calls. Patricia's voice gentled. This wasn't impulse, Mrs. Hartley. This was a calculated campaign to strip you of assets. When did it start? Walter pulled out a timeline. Best we can tell, about 6 months after you moved in. The first credit card application coincides with Brittany's promotion. 6 months. When she'd still been smiling at me over coffee, calling me mom, pretending to care. The betrayal cut fresh. What's our next move? I file the criminal complaints today, Walter said. Fraud, identity theft, elder abuse, attempted grand larceny. The DA's office is very interested. Elder abuse is a hot-button issue right now. What about Michael? Walter and Patricia exchanged glances. He's harder to prosecute. No direct evidence he forged anything, though he clearly knew. Accomplice charges possible. But juries hate sending sons to jail for obeying wives. I finished. Essentially, yes, I thought about Michael sobbing in my doorway, the boy I'd raised versus the man he'd become. File against both. Let the courts decide. Walter nodded. There's something else. Brittany's been busy since Friday. She's claiming you're mentally unstable, that she has power of attorney, that throwing them out was a delusion episode. What? Patricia pulled out papers. She filed for emergency conservatorship this morning. Claims you're a danger to yourself. Unable to manage affairs. Need immediate intervention. The audacity stole my breath. Even caught, even exposed, she was still attacking. Can she do that? She can try. Walter's smile was sharp. But we have your medical records, witness statements, and a paper trail showing you're the victim, not the perpetrator. No judge will grant it, but she'll try to make me look crazy. Let her. Patricia leaned forward. Every lie she tells is another nail in her coffin. Document everything. Record if legal in your state. Build the case. I want them to pay. The words came out harder than intended. Not just criminally, financially. Every penny they stole. Restitution is standard in fraud cases, Walter assured me. Plus damages for emotional distress, legal fees, credit repair. They'll be paying you for years. Good. Let them feel the squeeze of never having enough, always owing, forever indebted. Let Brittany's designer dreams crumble under court-ordered payments. There's more good news, Patricia added. The renovations, legally they're yours. Improvements made to your property with stolen funds revert to you. The pool, the kitchen, everything yours free and clear. I laughed, surprising myself. She built her dream house for me. Karma, Walter said dryly, can be beautiful. We spent hours documenting, planning, strategizing. By noon, I felt armed for war. Walter left to file papers. Patricia stayed to help me understand my finances. You're not rich, she said bluntly, but you're not poor. The house is worth approximately $800,000 now, thanks to the renovations and market appreciation. Your income is limited, but without a mortgage, it's sufficient. $800,000. Harold and I had paid $90,000 in 1985. He'd be stunned. Could I sell it? Of course, though. I'd wait until the legal matters settle. But yes, you could sell, buy something smaller, invest the difference, live very comfortably. Options. After 3 years of feeling trapped, I had options. That afternoon, reporters called. Word had leaked, elderly woman defrauded by family fights back. Did I want to comment? No, I said to each one. My attorney will handle media, but part of me wanted to scream it from rooftops. Look what they did, see how they smiled while stealing. Understand that elder abuse wears familiar faces. Michael called from a blocked number that evening. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Mom, his voice was raw. Mom, please don't do this. We can work it out with you in prison. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, Brittany said. He caught himself. I mean, we never meant you never meant to get caught. I kept my voice steady. But you meant to steal, meant to lie, meant to throw me away when I became inconvenient. That's not true, I love you. No, the word cut clean. Love doesn't forge signatures. Love doesn't steal. Love doesn't stand silent while someone calls your mother a freeloader. I was trying to keep peace. We're being a coward. Years of suppressed disappointment flooded out. Your father faced bullets in Vietnam, faced cancer with dignity, faced death with courage, and you couldn't face your wife. Don't bring dad into this. Why not? He's the one who left me the house you tried to steal. I gripped the phone tighter. He'd be ashamed of you, Michael, ashamed and disgusted. Brittany's leaving me. The words tumbled out. She says I'm useless, that I ruined everything by not handling you better. She's taking the kids. Good, maybe they'll have a chance away from both of you. Mom, please, I'll testify against her. Tell them it was all her idea. It was all her idea, but you went along with it. I closed my eyes. Goodbye, Michael. Don't call again, Mom. I hung up, blocked the number. My son was gone, had been gone for years. I was just finally admitting it. The next weeks passed in a blur of legal procedures, depositions, evidence gathering, court appearances. Brittany fought like a cornered animal, hearing expensive lawyers, spinning elaborate lies. But paper doesn't lie, and we had so much paper. The credit card companies were eager to cooperate once fraud was established. 20,000 in debt vanished from my record transferred to Brittany's. The forensic accountant found more. Applications for loans I'd never seen, inquiries about reverse mortgages, even an attempt to sell my house that failed only because the notary questioned the signature. She's been planning this for 2 years, Patricia told me over coffee. Every move calculated to strip your assets while making you look incompetent. 2 years of smiles and family dinners and how are you, Mom? While plotting my destruction, the scope of betrayal took my breath away. But I wasn't alone anymore. Dorothy became my constant companion, fierce and protective. June and Tom visited regularly, bringing groceries and gossip. Even neighbors I'd barely known stopped by, offering support. We never liked her, Mrs. Patterson from 2 doors down confided. Always acting superior, parking across driveways, letting her dog mess in yards without cleaning up. Small vindications, but they mattered. I wasn't crazy. Others had seen what I'd been too trusting to notice. The criminal trial began in March. I sat in the witness box telling my story to 12 strangers. Brittany glared from the defense table, designer suit impeccable, face a mask of wronged innocence. Her lawyer tried to paint me as confused, vindictive, jealous of my daughter-in-law's success, but I had Walter's coaching. Patricia's evidence, my own newfound steel spine. Mrs. Hartley, the defense attorney, said smoothly, "Isn't it true you resented my client's success, her promotion, her income, her influence over your son?" "I resented her theft," I replied calmly. "Her lies, her attempt to steal my home and destroy my credit. Success built on crime isn't success. It's just crime with better clothes." The jury liked that. I saw nods, sympathetic glances. Brittany's mask slipped, showing fury beneath. Michael testified for the prosecution as promised, but his performance was pathetic, claiming ignorance, painting himself as Brittany's victim, throwing her under every available bus. The jury saw through it. Everyone saw through it. "I trusted my wife," he whined on the stand. "I never thought she'd do something like this." The prosecutor eviscerated him. "You never wondered why your mother suddenly had debt she couldn't explain? Never questioned the loan applications? Never thought to verify the signatures that bought your pool?" Michael crumbled. By the end, he'd admitted knowing about the fraud, benefiting from it, choosing to stay silent. His plea for leniency fell flat. The verdict came on a Thursday. Guilty on all counts for Brittany. Guilty of accomplice charges for Michael. I sat in the gallery feeling nothing but hollow vindication. Justice, but at what cost? My son led away in handcuffs, my daughter-in-law spitting venom as they cuffed her. "This isn't over." Brittany screamed, "You vindictive, you've ruined everything." "No," I said quietly, though she couldn't hear me. "You ruined everything. I just refused to let you bury me in the wreckage." Sentencing came weeks later. Brittany got 5 years, eligible for parole in 3. Michael got 18 months, mostly probation. Restitution ordered for both. They'd be paying me back for decades. Outside the courthouse, Walter shook my hand. "You did it, Dolores. You won, had I? My family was shattered. My son a criminal, my daughters estranged. But I was free, I was safe, I was home." "Yes," I said. "Finally, I won." Spring arrived with unexpected beauty. The pool Brittany had installed sparkled in the sun. The kitchen she designed hosted dinner parties with Dorothy, June, and new friends from the senior center I'd started attending. My house lived again, filled with laughter instead of judgment. Sarah called on Mother's Day. Mom, I am sorry for not listening, for not believing you. I'd been gardening hands deep in soil. Harold had loved. Are you? Yes, I've been thinking about how we treated you. Like you were just supposed to exist for us, never need anything yourself. Her voice broke. I'm so sorry, I appreciate that. I meant it, but trust would take longer. How are you? We talked carefully, testing boundaries. She was divorced now, struggling but managing. The parallels to my situation weren't lost on either of us. Women alone finding strength they didn't know they had. Lisa called a week later with similar apologies. My daughters were learning what I'd learned. That strength comes from standing up, not lying down. I forgave them, but slowly, cautiously. Fool me once. Michael wrote from prison. Long, rambling letters full of self-pity and accusations. I returned them unopened. That chapter was closed. Emma and Josh were with Brittany's mother now. I sent birthday cards, Christmas gifts, but kept distance. Someday, maybe when they were older, when they could understand that Grandma wasn't the villain in their story. On the anniversary of Harold's death, I visited his grave with flowers and news. I did it, I told the headstone, fought back. One, the house is safe. Wind rustled the trees and I swear I heard his laugh. That's my Dolly. Tougher than you look. I miss you every day, but I'm okay. Better than okay. I arranged the flowers, straightened the little American flag by his marker. I'm home. And I was not just in the physical house, but in myself. The woman who'd been diminished, dismissed, nearly destroyed had found her spine, had remembered her worth, had refused to go quietly into anyone's good night. That evening I sat by my pool, watching sunset paint the sky. Dorothy brought wine, June brought cheese, and we toasted survival. To Dolores, Dorothy raised her glass. Who showed us all how it's done. To standing up, I countered. Even when your knees shake, to justice, June added, and the courage to demand it. We drank, we laughed, we lived. 3 women who'd seen too much, survived too much, but refused to surrender to it. This was my family now. Chosen, cherished, real. My phone buzzed with a text from the lawyer. Brittany's appeal had been denied. She'd serve her full sentence. I deleted it without responding. The past had no more claims on me. I was Dolores Marie Hartley. I was 71 years old. I owned my home free and clear. I'd been knocked down but not knocked out. I'd been betrayed but not broken. And I was exactly where I belonged. 6 months later, life had settled into new rhythms. I woke each morning in my master bedroom, made coffee in my beautiful kitchen, swam laps in my pool. The house that had nearly been stolen had become my sanctuary restored. The restitution checks came monthly, small amounts but steady. Brittany's wages were garnished. Michael's, too. Every penny they sent felt like validation. You tried to rob me, but now you pay me. Justice has a certain poetry. I'd started volunteering at the senior center, helping others navigate financial planning. So many had similar stories. Children who saw them as ATMs, relatives who manipulated their love into loans never repaid, spouses who controlled through money. Check your credit reports, I'd tell them. Know your rights, document everything, and never, ever let anyone make you feel worthless for needing help. They called me their warrior, their inspiration. Me, the woman who'd almost lost everything because she trusted too much. But that was the point, wasn't it? We learn, we grow, we teach others from our scars. Michael was released early for good behavior. He sent another letter asking to meet to reconcile. This time I read it. I've changed. He wrote, therapy has helped me understand how I failed you, how I let Brittany control me, how I chose the easy path instead of the right one. Please, Mom, let me try to make amends. I thought about it for weeks. Asked Dorothy, June, Walter for advice. Mixed responses, but ultimately the choice was mine. I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop, public, neutral, safe. He looked older, thinner, worn down by consequences. Good growth hurts. Mom, he stood when I arrived, uncertain. Thank you for coming. I sat, ordered tea, studied my son. You have 10 minutes, he talked fast. Therapy revelations, codependency issues, the toxic dynamic with Brittany, his shame over betraying me. All probably true, all definitely too late. I want to earn your forgiveness, he finished. Whatever it takes. Forgiveness isn't earned. It's given or not. I sip my tea. I forgive you, Michael, for my peace, not yours. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, doesn't mean trusting. Doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. I understand, but maybe with time. No, I set down my cup, I'll be civil, I'll send Christmas cards, I might even answer if you call. But the relationship we had, the mother who'd sacrificed everything for you, she's gone. You killed her when you stayed silent at that Thanksgiving dinner. He cried. Then my son, who'd inherited his father's eyes but not his courage, I felt nothing. The part of me that would have rushed to comfort him had died somewhere between freeloader and forged signatures. I'm still your mother, I said, standing. But now I'm my own person first. Remember that. I left him there with his cold coffee and hot tears. It wasn't cruel, it was necessary. Boundaries aren't walls. They're the fence that makes good neighbors possible, even when those neighbors are your children. The divorce finalized while Brittany was in prison. Michael got the kids alternate weekends. Supervised at first. He sent pictures sometimes. Emma taller, Josh losing baby teeth. I kept them but didn't display them. Someday, maybe, not yet. Sarah visited for Thanksgiving. Just her, quiet and careful, helping me cook in the kitchen her former sister-in-law had designed with stolen money. We didn't talk about the past much. Instead, we built new memories. Her teaching me her grandmother's pie recipe, me showing her Harold's photo albums. Dad would have been proud of you, she said suddenly, peeling apples for fighting back for standing up. He would have been sad it was necessary. I tested the turkey perfectly golden, but yes, I think he'd approve. I'm proud of you too. She met my eyes. I know I failed you when you needed me, but watching you fight, seeing you refuse to be victimized, it changed something in me too. I stopped accepting less than I deserved in my own life. Good, and I meant it. That's what mothers really want. Children who know their own worth. Lisa came for Christmas, bringing the twins, watching my grandchildren play in my pool. Their laughter echoing off tiles paid for with fraud but claimed by justice felt like healing. Not complete. Some wounds leave permanent marks, but healing nonetheless. Grandma Dolores, one twin asked, "Why don't we see Uncle Michael anymore?" Sometimes, I said carefully, people make choices that change relationships, but that doesn't mean we stop loving them. We just love them differently, like from far away, exactly like that. Children understand more than we credit. They accepted it, went back to playing. Life moves forward, even when we're looking back. New Year's Eve found me surrounded by friends Dorothy, June, and Tom, neighbors who'd become family, fellow volunteers from the senior center. We toasted at midnight to survival, to strength, to refusing to be silenced. "What's your resolution?" Dorothy asked. "No more resolutions," I said. Just promises to myself to never again shrink to make others comfortable. To never apologize for taking up space, to never let anyone make me feel worthless in my own home. Hear, hear. The chorus went up, glasses clinked. These people who'd stood by me when blood family hadn't, who'd witnessed my humiliation and cheered my triumph, who proved that family isn't about DNA. It's about showing up. The party lasted until 2. I cleaned up slowly, savoring the echoes of laughter in my home. This house had seen so much love and betrayal, theft and justice, loss and reclamation, but it was mine. Every tile, every wall, every memory being made. I stood in my kitchen, my beautiful stolen, recovered kitchen, and made one last toast. To Harold, who'd left me more than a house. He'd left me the tools to protect it. To myself, for finally using them, to the future, whatever it held. I'm Dolores Hartley, I said to the empty room, to the ghosts of what had been, to the promise of what could be. I'm 71 years old. I own my home. I know my worth, and I'm exactly where I belong. The house settled around me, safe and solid. Through the window, dawn was breaking. A new day, a new year, a new life built on the ashes of the old. I was home.